Hello and welcome to Spiel Digital. My name is Amanda and I am here with Game Brewer today to talk to Alain Orban, who is from Europe and I'm in the States. So it's kind of a very long distance conversation here. A lot of you are at Spiel, and for those of you who are not and are watching this at home, we're glad that you could join us for some of this online content. And this will be on YouTube. If you're watching on Spiel Digital, you can pop over there and ask questions in the chat. It is pre-recorded, so we can't answer any of them here on screen, but we will be monitoring the chat during the event so that if you have any questions, we can answer there via text. So welcome, Alain.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm very excited to talk about Hippocrates or Hippocrates or Hippocrates or however it is pronounced, depending on where you're from. But
Yeah.
I'll say it with my most American accent here today. And I want to dive deep into this game because I'm very excited about it. But before we get going, I just want you to give us and the audience a little bit of an overview for anyone watching that may have no idea what this game is all about. So go ahead and just kind of introduce the game for us here.
Yeah, okay. Hippocrates, or Hippocrate in French, is a very well-known doctor, and he has built the first hospital in history. So the game represents that, and you are the successor of Hippocrates, and you have to welcome as many patients as possible that are coming from all over the world, and to hire some doctor to treat them, and also to buy the right medicine to be able to treat as many patients as possible. So the game really represents the life that we have in a hospital, having patient coming and getting treated by doctors that you need to hire and other things like that. So it really represents the life of a hospital at that time.
Great. And so, what was your inspiration for this idea? Like, where did that come from?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I was on vacation with my wife in Kos, which is in Greece, and
Nice.
yeah, it's the island of Hippocrates, and so I've made a tour, a visit of the temple of Asclepius. I didn't know a lot of things about Hippocrates, and when I went there, the guide started to explain us how was the life there. When he created the hospital, so he
Mm,
was welcoming patients from all over the world, and mainly the Mediterranean region, with
mm,
people from Athens, from Carthage, and other thing like that. So while she was explaining that, it started to come into my mind that it should be a good team for a game. So while she was explaining that, I was starting to think, okay, we need patients, we need doctors, we need we need medicine, and it's really started like that. So after the tour on that very beautiful temple, we were in the bus going back to the hotel, and I was thinking of the game. When I came back at the hotel, I really started to write all my ideas. I wrote 10 pages and ideas, and so it really started like that. And mainly, I would say 80% of the game was already there the first day. Of course, I've developed it after, but it's really due to that visit that the idea came to me. So it was really, I generally start from the theme to
mhm.
find mechanism, and it's really came like that for me.
Oh, neat. And I bet your family on vacation was super thrilled that you started
No,
working. And
no, but my wife knows me, so at the end
yeah,
of the day, I always take my wine and always working
nice,
on games, and she knows me. It's the time that
nice,
while she prepares for the dinner, I prepare my game.
nice. Well, okay, great. So then you had an idea and you had 10 pages of notes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What then was the next steps for your development of it? How did you go from those 10 pages to what
Yeah.
we
Uh,
received here at Game Brewer?
Yeah, it was small pages, but okay, it was pages
Okay.
anyway. No, so when I came back from vacation, I remember it was Wednesday, and the Thursday, the day after, my prototype was ready. So I've made all the illustration and other thing like that. So I've started to test it on my own, and I felt very well. I said, no, it's a good idea. So after a few weeks, which doesn't happen often with me, because I generally wait a lot of time before making tests with other people, but there I was quite convinced. So I played it with my family,
Mm,
and they were saying, "Oh, good." So I went to a club, a game club in the surrounding of my city, and I've tested it with people that I didn't know. It was only 3 or 4 weeks after that I came back from vacation, and they would say, "Okay, where can we buy it?"
Oh,
So
wow.
they would say, "Yeah." I say, "Not yet, not yet." So after that, I was the impression that the work was the game was working correctly, and of course I had to develop it, because you know that a game, before to be ready to be published, it takes a lot of time. So I often test myself a lot. I play the role of for the different players to try to see all the different strategy and other things like that. So I've started to work like that, and of course I've started to make it tested by a lot of people. And when I saw that it was ready, I started to contact a publisher, and fortunately, Game
Wow.
Brewer has decided to publish it. So it
Wow.
was
So
a
it
dream.
was
Yeah,
3 to 4 weeks before someone said they wanted to buy it. Did it change a lot after that point? Like, did it, or is it still pretty much what it was at that point?
yeah. It's pretty much what it was
Wow.
already at that moment. I would say that really the core of the game was still the same. Six Nation, three level of passion coming. It was already there. Doctors treating with different type of medicine and others, other thing like that. So the core of the game was already there. What I had to work a lot on was the reputation track, which is very sensitive, because you progressing on the reputation track is something that doesn't come to you immediately, the advantage of doing that.
Mm.
So I had to find the right equilibrium to say, okay, if someone is really increasing in reputation track, he can win, but also if someone doesn't go to the reputation track, he can also win, to try to balance. So the biggest development that I have to do is the equilibrium with the reputation track. But for the rest, it was I would say 80% the same, but you know that it's in the detail. The devil is in the detail. So finding the right things to do it was very good.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, for those that haven't seen this online or read the rules, I'm very impressed that it was such a short duration, because it does feel like it was well edited and like really well distilled down, kind of like the kind of games I really like the classic Euros that have, it's just a few pages of rules, but once you understand the flow, it's sort of one thing leads to the other thing, which leads through the round, and it has kind of a really nice arc. So that's quite impressive. Maybe you could tell the audience a little bit more about uh, one of the aspects that it's really neat and how it's a bit of a puzzle. So for those of you that don't know, there's a round where you're kind of rolling die that are placed out, and then players take turns kind of choosing patients that are next to those, and then they come back to your kind of examination room, and then you need to collect medicines and doctors that will be able to treat those patients, and they can be placed out then on your play area into sort of a little puzzle aspect. So just go into that a little bit more and help the audience know what that's all about.
Yeah. So this puzzle aspect was already in my first prototype, in the same way. So the issue that I made is that I made the Doctor Tile hexagon. So every time
Yep.
that I was redoing my prototype, I have to cut again with hexagon. So, but anyway,
They're hard.
yeah. So it's sometimes things that we need to improve after. So, but I was really happy about that. And yes, the puzzle aspect really came immediately. The three type of medicine was there. So to explain how it works, you have patients coming, and depending on their type of illness, they can be treated by different type of medicine, potion, unguent, or I don't know the term of the
I think it
last
was
one anyway.
herbs or yeah,
Herb.
yeah.
Yes. Herb potion and unguent. Great, thank you. And of course, to treat them, you need to treat a patient. For instance, you need two potion and one unguent, but you need also a doctor that is able to give the treatment to that patient. So you have specialist doctor that can only treat one type of
Hmm.
illness, I would say, which is illness with unguent, other with only potion.
Hmm.
Some doctors are more flexible; they can treat with two of them. And so when you are playing the game, you are welcoming three patients per turn. So at total, about you will have 12 patients, and you can hire between 4 and 7 or 8 a doctor. And really, the goal is to try to hire the best doctor that are able to treat your specific patient that need a specific type of medicine. And each doctor has also, I would say, a contract. It's the number of patients that he can treat. So some doctor can only treat one patient, other two, and things like that. So that's why it's kind of puzzle, because you have a doctor that can only treat with unguent, and the patient will need unguent and potion. So you need another doctor with potion that is able to treat that patient, and that doctor can treat another patient. So at the end of each round, you have a kind of puzzle on your table showing the different doctor and patients that can be treated. And that aspect was at the beginning of the game, and it's really I would say the funny part, but also a brain burning part, because when you are when you are trying to puzzle, and I say that it's really funny, because when I play that and when I see people play, they generally stand up to have a better view on all the patient and doctors, and it's funny because it's the only stand-up game that I know. But anyway, so it's always funny to see that. Yeah, it's really simple, but sometimes it can be brain burning to find the right combination.
Yes, definitely. I often would have the patient, and I'd be so excited to get the doctors that have the same abilities to treat the patients, and then I'd start setting on my puzzle and realize I forgot to buy the medicine that you
Yeah,
need
exactly.
because they can treat them, but if they don't have the medicine, they're not going to get
Yeah,
healed. And then the patients go from your examination room to the
yeah,
emergency room, and
exactly.
yes, so
Yeah,
it's a puzzle aspect for sure, and my brain was melting.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. And that's why you have, as you say, you are they come at the hospital and after urgency, so you have 2 rounds to find the right doctor or medicine to treat your patient. So
Yes. Yeah.
sometimes it's good to say, okay, I don't have to treat it now, but next round I will have to treat him.
But you have to keep paying your doctors even if they're not doing anything. So that's
Exactly.
also there's a lot of parts that work together. It's neat.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite strategy then? Like what do you get like all the patients you can? Because that's where you
Uh,
get a lot of the money, but then you might not
yeah.
have enough doctors. Or what do you do?
Yeah. I, I don't have one strategy.
Mm,
I think that in this game you really have to adapt yourself to all the other players are doing also, and
mm,
what are the type of rolling of the dice. But I generally try to, when I have the possibility, I try to recruit as many doctors as possible.
mm,
So unless I'm very low in reputation, while in that case I have to pay my doctor with a very high salary
mm-hmm.
wage. So I try to get as when we have the sequence of 3 doctors, I try also already to have a maximum of doctors that can treat the patient. And also when I see a patient that needs a lot of medicine to be used, these are the ones that you will win the most, the higher number of victory points. I always try to get them, and
Mm,
I say, okay, I have 2 turns, and it's a challenge for me. I hire them, and I'm trying to get the medicine, the doctor to treat them, and you score a
yeah,
lot of victory points. And
nice.
also it all depends sometimes on the reputation track. Sometimes you have to find the opportunity. You are third in the round or fourth in the round, which is not a good place, and you if you have the opportunity to win some reputation to become first, I take it, because it's being first in reputation helps you. You are the first to recruit the doctor and to buy the
Yeah.
medicine and other things. So,
It's better
so
to be
that's why I
reputable doctors, not shady, sketchy doctors. But it sounds like
like.
you always option doctors when you can, which I think I'm more of the gambler who hopes to turn over what I need and save my $2 and then end up not being able to buy anything. And so
Yes,
maybe
and
I should option more doctors.
yes, but it's funny because I play with other people. For instance, my son, I play a lot with my son.
Mm.
He doesn't recruit too many doctors, just the one that he needs. So we have really different strategy when we play, and it's really funny to see how at the end of the game it's really narrow at number of results.
Which I think kind of already answered my next question, which is sort of like, what do you hope players will gain as they play repeatedly? Like, what can they find here?
Yeah, I think that people that are playing for the first time maybe don't directly see the importance of having a good reputation, because as a doctor you need a good reputation, and when you have to choose, they prefer to get money, to get medicine, and think reputation. I don't care, but when they arrive and they are the last to choose their doctor, the first round, the second round, they say, "Oh, I wanted the doctor, but the player before me just took it." So I think that when you are playing, you really have to to try to be good in each domain, to in the medicine, in the reputation, in the money, and to really say, okay, to it's an optimization game, and when you are playing, having too many, I would say, red medicine. If you don't have a patient that needs red medicine, it's useless. So try to get another thing and thing like that. And you also have to look at the because each nation is coming with different, I would say, resources. You also have to try to choose the right nation, and also it gives the turn order at the first stage of the game, and so you have to really try to balance and to see also the offering that the patients are bringing to you. So sometimes you don't have to neglect the offering that patient will bring. So I would say that when you are playing more and more, you see that there are different type of strategy that you can use to
Mm-hmm.
try to win, but you always have to keep an eye on the other players because
Yeah,
you can
it's
try
a
to.
puzzle with many solutions, but lots of ways to get stuck.
Yeah,
I found them all.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so I have another question for you that is maybe a bit of an announcement, but could you tease a little bit about a possible upcoming expansion?
Oh, really? There is an expansion. Yeah, okay, I can tease a little bit. Okay, I've created that expansion a few months ago because I had someone that was at home. We were discussing about Hippocrates, and she was in the medical system hospital, and I said, oh, I didn't took into account that we could have nurse there. We only had doctors, so it would be good to have nurse also. So I say, okay,
Oh,
I'm going to try to create something. It was the Thursday, and the Saturday the expansion was done, and they were now yeah, yeah. And they were surprised because the week after we played it was the expansion. So
wow.
because but yeah, it's like that. Sometimes it comes, sometimes it never comes. It can take 2 years to have an idea to come, but there. And so I started with the nurse expansion. So the nurse in the expansion there will be four different modules that can be
Hmm.
played separately, and the nurse are helping the doctors to treat the patient and also things like that. So you have to hire nurse in addition to hiring doctors. You have also leaders. So as I say, there are patients coming from 6 different nations, but also doctors coming from 6 different nations. And as a leader, you will try to welcome the patient and have the doctor that correspond to the nation that you are the leader of. So you will have some targets. You will have also bakers that will help you to improve the way that you are working and other thing like that. You will have also events that will come and that will change the way that you have to play. So at the second and the third round, there will be a positive event and a negative event, and you will have to deal with that. So a lot of interaction adding also with that, because some event will be a positive thing for the one that is highest in reputation or the one that has the most red medicine or thing like that, but also bad events where the cost will be higher and other thing like that. So it was maybe a long tease, but it's
No, it's good. It's not something we've announced, but we're pretty excited to kind of be hoping to develop this a little bit further, hopefully for next year. But we have no timeline or schedule, so but
no,
it's exciting to think about. So thank you.
yeah, yeah, you're welcome. You're
Yeah. And the last question I have for you is the one that we always ask at Game Brewer because we are game brewer and we brew games. But
Mhm.
what is your personal favorite brew? Like, what do you turn to? Coffee,
It all
tea,
depends. It all depends. In the morning, it's coffee.
of
So
course. Well,
morning,
of course, it could be tea.
in
Hmm.
but when I'm with friends, football, it's always beer. So as a good Belgian guy, I
Ah,
drink beer.
nice.
The Belgian beers are the best ones. So
Yes,
so it will. I would say coffee and beer then.
excellent. You can have two. That's allowed.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Exactly. Not at the same moment, but
No. Mm. Hey, there's coffee flavored beer that's
no, no, not
popular.
good.
No.
No, 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 no. I don't think so.
Well, thank you very much for joining
You're
us
welcome.
here for Spiel Digital. And for those of you watching at home, we should have our games available for pre order if they're not available yet in your region at a discount, the same discounts that we have for our older games at the convention itself, which is 5% off one game, 10% off two games, 15% off 3 or more games. If it's not yet available, we have extended that to the pre-orders of Hippocrates and our other new games. So you can go to GameBrewer.com and go ahead and snag Hippocrates with a bit of a discount, and so that when it ships, and free freight in the EU and Canada and the US. But um, since we couldn't necessarily have a bunch of these available for the convention with all the shipping issues, we wanted to extend that to being able to pre-order the games. So, but maybe in your region, by the time you see this video, it's already out. Again, Alain, thank you very much for taking the time to join me.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to meet you.
All right. Well, and happy Spiel to the rest of you, and thanks for joining us.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.